Pip Pip, welcome to Random Musings. Um,
Uh, yes, come in. Simply discussing things.
yes, this is your idea for once, Brandon. I
It's
think,
clearly not going to infuriate people.
I think I covered the past few, and you wanted to talk about the problem with Pokemon.
I will just clarify to be specific. The problem with like the main series games.
Oh,
So we're talking like blue, red, yellow, gold, silver, all the way through all the generations.
so it's more games instead of anime.
Yes and no. I'll probably touch on well, it'd be Pokemon in general unless so anime specific stuff. Mostly because I don't watch the anime.
I,
I
I
did right up until I think the end of Hoenn, and then I started catching like bits and pieces of Diamond and Pearl, and then fell off completely. I did
think
catch a little bit of the X and Y one at the start, but that was it. That was the
I,
last I really looked at.
I think I watched mostly through May, whatever
Mm.
her series was, and then
Generation 3, so like
yeah.
Ruby Sapphire era.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a little bit farther than that. That one I watched till the end. It was the Diamond and Pearl stuff where I saw bits and pieces and fell off. That's not to say I didn't enjoy it when I watched it.
Yeah, but
Dawn is still best Pokemon girl. Sinnoh
really?
is still my favorite region.
Who's best Pokemon girl?
Dawn, or
Mm,
I think her Japanese name is Hikari, or maybe that's May. I never remember.
I
I
think
remember I get them confused.
my biggest complaint with the anime is Ash should not have been the main character for this long. Because I just look at series that has been going on for this long with multiple iterations, kind of, and like Yu-Gi-Oh, there's a different protagonist for each arc. Like every season's change the protagonist. They could
Mhm.
have done that with Pokemon.
Well, it's also not the same person making those either. The person who came up with the story for, say, GX is not the same person that came up with the original.
Oh,
Like, it
oh
is a
really?
complete spin off. It is not the same person.
So it's a spin-off.
Essentially, yes.
Huh. I did
Like,
not know that.
well, that and the Yu-Gi-Oh mangas are drastically different from the animes.
I know Series Zero.
Not even that. There is some vastly different stuff. Like Season 0, it is darker, I would say, but it is vastly different. For instance, like I know this best with GX rather than any of the other ones, but GX was like, "Oh cool, we're going to a school. We're going to learn how to do the duel monsters even though we play pretty well as it is." Uh it dives down into different things like, "Oh man, there are these like uh I always want to call them failed god cards, but I don't think that's accurate because it feels like they were either attempts to recreate the god cards or they were prototypes that failed, and then they got sealed away like on Academy Island for whatever fucking reason.
Okay.
And then you have shit like Ubel, which Jaden had like as a best friend as a card, and then was like, oh man, she keeps killing people whenever I like duel people. As a little child, little baby Jaden was like that, and it's like I want a contest, send her to space, and maybe the healing rays of the sun out in space would make her better, and it makes her worse, and she comes back as a very sadistic piece of shit and tries to murder more people
Oh no.
while trying to make sure Jaden is hers and only hers. I also say her, but it's literally a man and a woman mashed together half and half.
Are they yandere?
Heavily.
Oh my god.
If there was gore allowed in the anime, Yubel would be murdering everyone. This wouldn't be a card game to do this. It would just be, I'm gonna take a chainsaw to everyone.
You activate my trap card! Chainsaw!
Yeah, no, pretty much. There is a chainsaw insect card that I own. Like its mandibles are just chainsaws, I think.
Ooh.
That's the way, like that kind of crazy shit is the anime. Whereas like we talk about the manga, it's like, nah man, in the anime, Jaden's heroes are like, oh man, I'm gonna fuse them all into like these amazing things that are like just different aspects of the same minion. Like Clayman and Sparkman become Thunder Giant. In this case, it's like I have Elemental Hero Ocean, I have Elemental Hero Woodsman. They become Elemental Hero Terra Firma. The entire series is basically based on the idea of these cards that are based on the planets themselves. So terra firma being Earth. There's like a Neptune, a Mars, a Saturn, etc., etc.
Okay.
I forget what the end goal is, but the idea is that it's a heavy remix of what the original anime would have been.
Okay.
And even then, I'm not 100% sure if the manga and the anime have the same writers.
Okay, so Pokemon is written by the same people for like the past 20 years.
I feel like that's the case to a certain degree, at least. I'm sure that there are writers that shift in and out, but it feels like they always stick to the same idea, the same core idea, without ever shifting from it. Whereas you throw Yu-Gi-Oh in there, obviously we're going in a huge roundabout circle here because fucking tangents that we love.
Yay, tangents!
Whereas Yu-Gi-Oh's just like, all right, what's your crazy idea? Cool, let's pare that down and we'll do that.
Card games have motorcycles!
Yeah. Or like in the case of Zeal or Zexel, whichever you want to pronounce it, literal space aliens.
What?
Yeah. What? Different dimensional space aliens.
That play card games. Huh.
I can't really say after that because Zeal or Zexel was the last one I really watched. And that's about the time that I hopped off because I didn't like the whole pendulum mechanic. But hey, that's a story for another day.
But just getting back to my idea, if they would have kept whatever the main protagonist, and I know you can choose male or female in all the games, but...
Well, I mean, you had that with Fate Grand Order, too, but they decided to stick with the male character as the protagonist there.
Yeah, but I would have liked it, not to say Ash was a horrible protagonist.
No, definitely not. However, you know, every new region, he just forgets everything he learned in the past region, but whatever.
Yeah, but I just wish there would be like a fresh new face in there. And
oh, so you want Pokemon Origins?
Origins?
Yes.
I have not heard of this.
It takes the plot of the main first set of games. Hell, it even explains why the Pokemon are so weak when you battle them in the game. It's like, oh, this is your first gym? All right, I'm going to use this set of Pokemon. Like, it implies you could have gone to any gym to start with.
Oh. I think the anime talks about that.
Not the main one, unless they've done something since. They never mentioned that before. Origins is the one that addresses that.
No, I kind of remember that like Ash wanted to go to Giovanni's gym when he was in the town, but
it was like, closed. Like, it wasn't open.
Right. So they're like, okay, we'll come back later.
Okay, oh, so you're talking about like the idea of just starting at any gym. Okay, got it. I thought you were talking about the idea of, oh, we're going to use a different set of Pokemon because this is your first gym badge.
No. I'm just going to, like, whatever, you can go to any gym in any order, but it just so happened Giovanni's was closed at the time.
Well, I mean, it would make sense too, wouldn't it? Because, I mean, fuck it, maybe you start in Celadon City. Maybe that's where you were born, right? You're telling me you're going to travel all the way to Pallet Town to get your first Pokemon from Professor Oak? Heck, if anything, Oak should come to you. It's like, I have Pokemon. I can defend myself on my journey.
Right.
You can't. You don't got shit. So, getting on to, like, the main points I want to make here. So, I love Pokemon. Let's start with that part before I start digging into this. I love it. All right. I love the concept. I love the idea. I've played the game since the start. A lot of people would say I would be a Gen 1er. No, thank you. I mentioned this earlier. I love Sinnoh. I am excited for whenever we get these Sinnoh remakes. Supposedly, from what I understand, it might be this year.
And Sinnoh was
Gen 4. It had like some of the most varied terrain, and I loved that. I didn't love the HMs. Like, that was annoying. Hopefully the remakes fix that.
Is that with double battles?
Double battles were first introduced in Gen 3.
Ah. Like, I didn't play past Gen 2, so I'm not too sure.
Generation 4 also had contests, if I'm remembering correctly. They also introduced a thing called the Poketch, a Pokemon watch that had different apps on it.
Huh.
Whether that was like a step counter, a calculator, a friendship checker where you could check how friendly your Pokemon were with you. So things like Umbreon and Espeon evolving would be a lot easier.
A step counter for your in-game character?
Yes.
Why?
Well, it would, and I'm not 100% sure how many people used it this way. It would let you know how many steps it takes for an egg to hatch. So, for instance, let's say you had like an egg from, I don't know, Nidorino or Nidorina, right? How long does that specific egg take to hatch if you're going to keep breeding those? It would also help tell you, and I believe this was actually one of the uses, how long a route is in a straight line, like if you're going in a straight line. And I believe that's how they figured out what the best egg hatching route was, where you could go for the longest amount of time and then turn around and go back in the same straight line and just use it to hatch eggs all day long.
Or speedrunners.
I mean, yeah, I guess speedrunners could use it too. I hadn't considered that. That'd be one. Although I believe it only went up to a certain number, so who knows? But yes, I enjoyed Sinnoh because it had such a varied terrain. I do have to wonder if like they did that due to the complaints they got in reviews about how Hoenn had way too much water. We'd go from like regular plains to like a 2-tiered bridge and underbridge route to like a caves and mountains and like ice-covered summits to like down below the ocean and shit. It was just really fun. I really enjoyed it with all that varied, like, it also allowed for a lot of varied types, too. Plus, when your legendaries are literally the legendaries of time and then space, and then God itself, yeah, that's pretty fucking cool. And the devil, I guess, technically.
When you were telling me about legendaries from things that I haven't seen, that kind of made me want to get back into Pokemon ever so slightly.
Well, I do have to ask, right? So do you remember the Reggie Pokemon, like Reggie Steel, Reggie Rock, Reggie Ice?
Are you going to tell me they're based on the Nintendo of America CEO?
No.
Oh.
I'm going to tell you that there is apparently another one that exists that is apparently the granddaddy of them all, called Reggie Gigas.
Reggie Gigas, good sir.
Yes.
Huh.
Or it has like one of the worst abilities, where I believe for the first 5 turns its speed is cut in half, or something like that, I think. I've never used it, but I've always thought the design looked really cool. It looks like a fucking massive ass golem with like moss growing on its legs. Like, it is not moved in like fucking years.
Huh.
Like, it looks neat. But yes, Sinnoh is my favorite region. Now.
And hold on, what is Sinnoh based on? Because you were saying that all Pokemon is based off of real world locations?
It's another area of Japan, but I forget which one it's based on. Let me check. Yada yada yada.
Because wasn't Gen 8 based in Ireland?
Gen 8 was based in England. Or at least the UK in general. Ireland, I don't think was a specific one, but like Scotland to England, essentially.
Okay.
I don't think Wales was in there anywhere. Let's see here. Sinnoh region based on. It's based on Hokkaido.
Oh, okay. Good old northern Japan.
Mm-hmm. I should also point out, like, the Pokemon in general from Gen 4 tend to be my favorites, just because, like, a lot of the older Pokemon got another evolution added onto them. Like, we got Electabuzz and Magmar getting evolutions added. Yanma got an extra evolution. Who else was there? Tangela got an evolution. There are a bunch of Pokemon that got another evolution, and 99% of them looked way better. I personally like Electivire was one of my favorite Pokemon for a long ass time. Sneasel got an evolution. It became a Weavile. It looked cool. With all that out of the way, let's get down to brass tacks. All right. For people that are now wanting to understand why I dislike the current generations since Sinnoh, I've discussed this with you, Brandon, for a little bit. I dislike a lot of Gen 5's designs. It feels like all they really did was take what already existed and slap a pair of googly eyes on it.
Trash
Some of
bag.
them are neat, but there are way too many that just crash and burn compared to the ones that like are actually good designs.
It's a trash bag with eyes.
Yeah, I really don't like it. Like, people will try and quote at me, but what about Magnemite? And I'll be like, it's a magnetic ball with an eye that attracts literally all of the metal around it. Like, it brings in the magnets and, like, the screws and shit. I can get behind that. Grimer is a pile of, googly-eyed sludge. Yes, but I'm way more willing to believe what would be considered, like, nuclear sludge coming to life is way more believable than the trash bag you set out at the corner of the road. There's just a lot in there that, to me, just stink, like, badly. I don't like the ice cream cone Pokemon. I don't care if you're going to tell me it's really just the icicle underneath. What practical purpose does it serve living as an ice cream cone? It's just going to make people in Pokemon want to eat it. Now, I say that, I shit on them, but then there's really cool shit, like Coffagrigus. I love Coffagrigus. He's a fucking sarcophagus that came to life. And you can get away with that, in my mind at least, when it's a ghost. Ghosts possess things. You can get away with that real easy. It is a free ticket. You want to take that toaster over there and make it a Pokemon? Make it a ghost. I am fine. Hell, Gen 8 made a teapot ghost. And I am cool with that, because it's a ghost.
A teapot
It makes sense.
ghost.
There is a teapot ghost / teacup ghost. I am cool with that.
Is it a teacup that evolves into a teapot?
Yes. Now, you also have to give it the teapot to make it evolve. So it's like an evolution stone specifically for that Pokemon only.
So it needs a fellow teacup to evolve into a teapot?
No. So remember when you would get like a Poliwhirl and you wanted to evolve it into a Poliwrath and had to give it like a water stone?
Okay.
In this case, it's just, hey, I got this cracked teapot and I have this teacup Pokemon.
Oh, a cracked...
Here, have the teapot. You're going to, like, the ghost itself is going to jump from the cup to the pot. And that's the evolution.
Ah.
So it's a ghost. I don't care. That's cool. It works and it fits in with lore.
But what's its true form?
Hold on. Like, speaking of, like, ghost types in Gen 5, like, Gen 5 does this. They doesn't do a really cool one, and I love it. You get Chandelure. It is a ghostly fucking candle that evolves into, like, an old-style ghost lantern into an old-style ghost chandelier. I love it.
Oh my god, that sounds awesome.
It is such a cool design. Even the chandeliers, like, where you would have lights, it's just ghostly purple flames. It looks so cool. But then you got shit like Drudagon, who looks like a 13-year-old that could barely draw, tried to figure out what a dragon looked like. And then for some reason, it's got like a pink-ass, chewed-up head.
Oh my god, that looks so stupid. I'm looking at it now.
It's awful. It is one of the worst ones. I'll be honest. I will take the ice cream cone and the trash can over Drudagon because he looks so bad.
But will you say, for some of these, they are good Pokemon to use? Or does bad Pokemon, even though they might have good stats, you want nothing to do with?
I'm leaning toward the second. Personally, to me, it comes down to how cool do you look, right? Do you look really cool? I'll find a way to make you work if I can. If not, then I'm just going to stick you in my PC as a trophy. One of the two. Let's go with Seismitoad. I don't care for Seismitoad. He's not awful, but he looks like he's covered in terrible tumors. I don't like Woobat or Swoobat. I don't think they're particularly interesting. I don't care for Muna or Musharna. They're both kind of bad. I don't care for the elemental monkeys. I don't like the look. Like, I love the concept for the gym, where based on your starter, you fight the one that you're weak against. But I hate the monkeys as a thing because they just feel too similar to each other. It doesn't feel like there's enough of a difference.
Hold on, I'm
Like,
just sidetracking here. I'm just looking at Seismitoad, and he kind of reminds me with those orbs on his body, and this is a complete sidetrack here, to a Batman Beyond villain. I know there was a Batman Beyond villain who had like these big orbs on his arm that could do something once he like twisted them.
I know that there's a guy, there's an enemy in Teen Titans that has like these big orb gauntlets on that have to do with light.
Maybe I'm
but
confusing
like
that.
that's just on the arms though, like down by the hands. It's not on the shoulders or the back or anything.
Hold on, Dr. Light.
Is it Dr. Light? I don't remember.
That's what I thought you said.
I said his thing has to do with light. I didn't remember for sure. My brain was like, is it Dr. Light? I don't remember. I can't know. I don't know.
No.
Zoroa looks cool. Or Zoroark, I should say. Like, they both look cool, but Zoroark's neat. I like fucking Reuniclus. I enjoy Hydreigon. Even if I don't like Vullaby, I do like its evolution. But then you get shit like Cobalion, who's just got human legs. Like, all 4 of his legs are human. And it bothers me. You get the genies. Pre-alternate form, I forget what the alternate forms are called. Therian. Pre-Therian form, they're god-awful. Post-Therian form, they're great. If we would have just gotten Therian forms, I would have been happy. I wasn't a big fan of the 2 legendary dragons that were on the covers either. They've got ass generators for tails.
Ass generators?
Look up Reshiram and Zekrom. It's not even a joke. Those tails are technically generators. One for fire and one for electricity.
That's what you meant by ass generator.
Yeah. They're not great. Like, Reshiram's head is literally that of a ram, which I guess it's in its name, but it still looks kind of dumb. Now, with that said, I do like the idea of Qrem. I love the idea of the fusion. It pisses me off that we never get to see all 3 of them formed back into a single Pokemon, which is supposed to be what they originally came from a single Pokemon. It bugs me that we're never allowed to see that. I love Electros. I love what they did with Bug-type Pokemon. Levani and Scolipede are great Pokemon. They're probably my favorite bugs out of all of them. Outside of maybe Orbeetle. I like Orbeetle a lot. But, like, the problem is the stinkers in Gen 5 are just so bad that they drag all the other cool ones down. And it doesn't help at all that Gen 5 decided we're only going to stick with the new Pokemon and not have any of the old ones. That just makes it hurt all the more to see all the bad designs and never see any of the old good ones. And it drags the good ones down. There's Alamomola, who literally looks like a fish whose fins are just hands. And it's kind of creepy.
So are you saying there's getting to be too many Pokemon?
I'm gonna get to that point.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about that at some point, just not yet. I'm still just on Gen 5 at the moment.
Oh,
that's where I started souring.
And I can't find the villain that I'm thinking of. If anybody has any idea of what I'm talking about, please post in the comments.
I have no idea, and I'm sure they probably don't either. Yeah, there is a good chunk about Gen 5 I just really don't care for. And a lot of it comes down to just the Pokemon designs in that one. I liked the region. even though I thought it was a little simplistic with just going around in a circle. Now, before everyone yells at me, which, fuck it, those that are listening to this probably already are hammering away at their keyboards in the comments. That was Black 1 and White 1. They fixed a lot of my issues with this come Black 2 and White 2. Which, for your information, Brandon, is a sequel that involves a new character in the same region that happens about 3 years later. Kind of similar to the way Gold and Silver did it. It just in the same region rather than having to be in a neighboring region.
So they're not remakes.
They are not remakes.
Because I was half thinking, okay, they had Red and Blue, which became Ruby and Sapphire. How do you do that to Black and White? Make it Black 2, White 2. So
I mean, Ruby and Sapphire weren't remakes, though.
Oh, wait. What am I thinking of? What's the remake of Red and Blue, then?
Fire Red, Leaf Green.
That's right.
I mean, that one fucked up, too, with the whole locking you out of previous generations. Fire Red and Leaf Green locked you out of your anything post 151, including evolutions. Let's say you got yourself a Golbat, right? You want yourself to get a Crobat. You want it to evolve. It literally is not allowed to do that in Fire Red and Leaf Green until you hit post-game, until you beat the Elite Four. Every single level that it's able to, it will try to evolve and fail, regardless of what you do, until you beat the Elite Four.
Oh.
It sucked.
So what happens if you would try to put, like, a Meryl in the Fire Red Leaf Green? Would it say, like,
will
what?
Not allow you to trade that Pokemon in.
Huh.
They do not exist until post-game. Post-Elite Four, they start popping up in the wild. Pre-Elite Four, it's only the 151.
And then post-Elite Four, could you transfer them?
Yes. But you had to beat the game completely.
Including Mew? I mean, Mewtwo?
Not Mewtwo. Mewtwo was post-Elite Four. You had to beat Elite Four.
Okay.
That was your law in that game.
Huh.
Actually, I'm not sure about this. I don't remember if you had the egg option in Fire Red Leaf Green until after Elite Four or not. But if you did, I guarantee any baby Pokemon like Magby or Elekid would not hatch. You'd be stuck with Magmar or Electabuzz. You could not get the baby Pokemon version.
Just one thing, I did find out who I was thinking of. It wasn't Orbs, it was Gigantic Dials. His name was Shriek. If you remember him at all from Batman Beyond?
Not offhand, I'd have to look and see.
Okay, he was more sound-based.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to Pokemon.
I believe the last thing I mentioned about Gen 5 is that they locked you out of previous Pokemon. I don't remember if they allowed you to trade in Gen 5 to get old Pokemon.
Okay.
But you could not find them in the wild.
So you cannot find a Pikachu in the wild?
Nope.
But Pikachu is like the Pokemon mascot.
See, it was literally the same thing as Fire Red and Leaf Green. It wasn't until post-Elite Four that you could find them in the wild. So, in original Black 1 and White 1, it was literally the region was set up as you go in a straight line for like 2 towns, right? And then you meet up with like the center of an oval, okay? Like a sideways oval. And then you go around half of that oval, and then you fight the Elite Four. And then after that, the other half of the oval is unlocked to go to, and you find the other, like, half of the Pokemon. Like, the other, like, previous generation Pokemon there. As well as, like, your normal Gen 5 Pokemon. Which, to me, was always stupid because what's blocking them from getting over?
Is that one fence that you can't just walk around.
I should also point out that if I'm remembering correctly, and people will scream at me if I'm not, you didn't get the fishing rod until post-game.
What?
I'm about 90% sure, but I think you didn't get the fishing rod until either at the very end Like right before the Elite Four or after it?
Then how did you catch fish Pokemon?
You couldn't. You had to run around grassy areas that was near water. Also, I don't think you really surfed much in Gen 5 until the latter end.
Was Gen 5 low on the fish Pokemon?
I'm actually looking at them right now, the stuff that came in Gen 5, and I think they were. Now that I'm looking at it.
Huh.
A lot of them were just like some splice. Like, for instance, there was the swan, which was water flying. There's the toad, which you just find in grass, which was groundwater. There's the water starter, obviously. There was not a lot of water Pokemon, surprisingly. There was one of the fossils, which was a sea turtle, which was water rock.
Oh, so fossils still were a thing in later seasons.
Fossils were a thing throughout them. I think Gen 2 is the only one that reused fossils from the previous generation. I think new fossils got introduced in every generation after that. This one bothers me. Gen 8 basically allowed you to create fucking freaks of nature fossils where you combined one half of a fossil with another. And you couldn't like mix the same fossil. Like to create what would be the original Pokemon. You could only make a Frankenstein's monster.
So you can make custom Pokemon, massive air quotes?
You have 4 to pick from, and there are 4 different fossil halves, so you could only predeterminedly mix and match them into those 4.
Oh, okay.
But for some stupid reason, you can't put together, the dragon fossil with the dragon fossil. But you can put it together with the fish fossil.
That sounds dumb.
It's very dumb, and it annoys me that you can't make the original. Don't get me wrong, if you want to keep those Frankenstein ones in there, sure, go ahead. Let me make the original at least. Why not? I think that's enough of my griping about Gen 5. A lot of my issues come down to the lack of previous generation and just like the lows of Generation 5 Pokemon designs really sinking it as far as like the rest go.
Time to gripe about Gen 6?
I'll give Gen 5 this. Or actually, no, this half of Gen 5. I loved the first story with Gen 5. The idea of like, are we bad for keeping Pokemon in Pokeballs? Are we enslaving them? Was an amazing idea. And then you get to the end where it's like, oh no, they're just an evil team. They're just pure evil. What they say doesn't matter.
Okay, I'm looking at the combination chart here, and I can...
Oh, you're looking at the Gen 8 combination fossils?
Yes.
Do you enjoy what they look like? Like, there's one I enjoy. The other 3, I'm like, I don't know, though.
Okay. Think like you. Think like the other Brandon.
Oh, you're gonna try and guess which one I like?
Okay.
Is that where this... Alright.
I am going to... If I'm a gambling man, which I kind of am not, kind of am, I would put $5 down that you like Dracozolt.
You would win that one.
Woohoo!
It's the only one I like. The rest, I'm like, I don't know how I feel about these.
Yeah, Draco Bish, I'm like, why are you even like that?
Like, the head's not even on the right part of the body. It's stabbed through the tail, for one. And 2, that thing's constantly suffocating.
Yeah.
I don't get why they didn't let us create the original Pokemon. I get that the idea was probably, oh, you can only find this half of the fossil and not the other half. But I would have to ask, why can we only ever find the one half of this fossil? That doesn't make sense.
Maybe in Gen 8 remake?
I don't know if they would push it that far. I could see the option maybe in a later generation to find the other half, but that'd be about it. Oh, this is neat.
What?
Okay, here, I'm going to give you this. This is... I don't know who did this. Oh, it's DeviantArt. RZGmon 200 on DeviantArt. dude actually designed what they probably would have looked like if you were able to make any combination of the 4 fossils, including their original version. So I'm gonna post that to you, sir, with a very ridiculously long URL.
Oh my god, that's a long URL.
Yes. But I love these designs. These look real freaking cool. It looks like the dragon was meant to be like an electric velociraptor.
And the dino kind of looks like Lapras.
Actually, no. The dino looks like it's meant to be the Stegosaurus.
Oh.
There's the fish. But yeah, the other one is like, it's something else. I forget what it's called, like what that fossil specifically is called, but it does look like it's like a plesiosaur. So yes, very much like Lapras, but without a shell. Interesting. All right, let's jump back to the latter half of Gen 5. So White 2 and Black 2. They fixed a lot of my problems. Obviously, you can't fix the designs of Pokemon. However, by adding some things like the Therian versions of the genies and like the fusion of I'm blanking on it's Kyurem. The fusion of Kyurem with the other two, they look way better by leaps and bounds. They look way cooler. The ones they do fix, they fix my problems with the designs. They do add in a few others, like I think Keldeo was new in Black 2 and White 2. I don't think it was in the first ones. I don't personally care for Keldeo. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's not great. It's kind of meh as far as I'm concerned. Now, they did put in like a pop idol Pokemon.
A pop idol Pokemon.
Let me see. I don't remember its name offhand.
Oh my god.
Oh. Meloetta. That's its name. I just remembered it. Meloetta looks real cool. I like Meloetta.
And this is just a little side story here. When we were younger, my sister and I got Pokemon plushies from KFC, if you remember that promotion.
I don't remember that promotion at all.
Let me just see here. KFC, Pokemon, they had Zubat, Vulpix, Seal, and Dratini. And
okay.
Yeah, I got Zubat, which is still around my room somewhere, and Rachel got Vulpix. I remember she turned her Vulpix into like some pop singers or something like that. And like that was her headcanon for the stuffed animal.
Oh, here we go. I'm looking at him now. Oh, I think I remember like knowing people that had some of these. Like I do remember seeing the Zubat at some point. That is a funny story though. That it was some kind of pop star.
And since I was just not that creative, I'm like, mine's just Zubat.
Okay, so aside from like the design thing where they did fix some and added in some other cool ones, I'll say I like White 2 and Black 2 story a lot too. Like the story in that generation was always really good, where the idea was like the leftover scientist that used to work for Team Plasma is literally trying to be like, what's better, the feelings and emotions between a Pokemon and its trainer, or just raw science? And that whole idea, like, that was neat. I enjoyed that, including the fact where the scientist, Colress, is just like, I'm gonna force this thing with these DNA splicers to fuse together again. To which I have to ask, why didn't you, like, develop that for other shit? Like, why didn't you fuse your other Pokemon forcefully? And I mean, I feel like the answer is literally the Gen 8 fossils, because it would just be that, maybe. Okay. What was I going to bring up here? I will say, they also fixed the region where it's not just a fucking broken circle. They add a few more towns, and you start off in, like, a whole new zone. I will also point out this, too. I'm kind of jumping back to, like, White 1 and Black 1 in here. The fucking gym leaders do shit for a change. They don't just sit on their ass and let things happen. They actually come out and help battle against some of the other, like, guys for you. to let you get through. So the gym leaders aren't just sitting on their hands while Team Rocket's taking over the world.
Huh.
So I will gladly give that to White One and Black One. Like, that's great. I love that. I was talking about a region. We start in a new area completely. We meet up with, like, the two old rivals from Black One and White One. One of which I like, the other one I still fucking hate.
Oh, really?
I forgot to mention this. And this is one of the other things I hate about Black One and White One. So, when you get your Pokemon in Black One and White One, you have two friends, Bianca and Charon. Bianca's a happy-go-lucky girl that's like, I want to go see the world, and her dad's, like, super overprotective. All right? Makes sense? Makes sense. Cool. You kind of want to break free and figure out what you want to do with your life. Awesome. Your dad's overprotective, smack him around a bit, tell him I got to figure this shit out myself. You can't just keep me locked up. Cool. Charon pisses me the fuck off. I hate him so much. Because every single time he shows up, it's just, I want to be strong. I want to be, people notice me. I want to be strong. And it's like, why? Why do you want to be strong, Charon? So people will look at me. I want to bitch slap him every time he shows up. He's a whiny little bitch because he doesn't actually have a reason to be strong. As far as we're ever told, it's not like anyone ignores him or pretends he doesn't exist. Literally, it feels like there's no reason for him to act like this. There is no justification for it ever shown. And it pisses me off every time because it's like, why? Why is being, like, looked at and seen so important to you? Like, are you just a narcissist where you need to have people pay attention to you and make everything about you?
Some people are just like that, I guess.
It is the most obnoxious thing, and it made me hate the character every time he showed up. He had no reason to do it. He doesn't have an end goal for when he gets strong. Like, what does he want to do once he's that strong? There is nothing. And it pisses me off so much. Now, jumping into Black 2 and White 2, I'm sorry, I jumped back, but I felt that was important to point out. Black 2 and White 2, he's moderately better, and probably part of it is because he's become a gym leader, so you don't have to put up with his horse shit as much. Bianca has become an assistant to the professor, one of the only female professors we've ever had, Professor Juniper, who I think is cool. I like her as a professor. She's neat.
Was Ivy in the games?
Ivy never existed in the games. That was an anime-only character. Hell, the Orange Islands don't exist.
Oh.
They were never a game thing. There was always rumors floating around that you could get there somehow, like, when Blue and Red were around. There was always those rumors of, like, oh man, if you do this, this, and that, you can get over there. They exist. But they don't.
I thought that was like a Gen 2 thing.
Nope, they don't. The Orange Islands do not exist. They have never existed canonically in the games.
Yeah, since I dabbled in Gen 2, but never really did a lot with Gen 2.
I mean, they have the Whirl Islands, but those are a completely different thing. They're just like a set of islands that are there that are like just rocky outcroppings, really, more than anything else, and caves. Like, there's no towns or anything there. Yes, Black 2, White 2, enjoy the story. They fix a lot of the designs. There's new towns. Like, you start off in a new town. Bianca's the one that gives you your choice of your first Pokemon, which is cool. I love Bianca's new design. She looks great. Charon's not around as much, so yay. He's my most hated rival. And it's not even because he's an asshole like Blue / Gary. I loved that. I wish we had more of that. We don't ever get that anymore, it feels like. But
Bianca is kind of cute. Just looking at her Black 2 art.
Black 2, yeah. Yep, she looks real good. I love that design. That is a great style that she's got going on. We get new gym leaders to fight against. A few repeats, but I think like 3 or 4 are completely new. And in fact, we get one of my favorite gym leaders from Gen 5. we get Roxy, who is a poison user, and her entire shtick is she's in a rock band.
Oh!
Also, she has daddy issues. Like, her dad's super lame. Makes her look bad. She hates it. But she's also a daddy's girl when nobody's really looking. She just hates to be seen with her dad in public.
Ah.
But I love her. I love the design. I love the battle. Her fucking guitar looks like it's part Scolipede with those antennae that are coming off of it on either end. It's great. I love her as a gym leader. Like, there is so much character and personality shoved into her in the literal interactions you have with her in that town.
And I hate to cut you off here, but we've been ranting about Gen 5 for, well, like, including, like, the intro to you for about an hour now?
Maybe we need parts to this one. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Sorry. There's a lot for me to just rant on about Gen 5. I think I'm about wrapping it up. And part of it is because it's literally 2 generations of games, technically.
Okay.
Well, a gen and a half.
Yeah, we'll come back to this for later bits.
The only other thing I will point out is that there's a really cool surfer dude that takes over as, like, the 8th gym leader that I enjoyed. That's about it. There's nothing much I can really add to this that I haven't already said as far as Gen 5 goes. So I guess we can leave it there for another part.
Okay, because, like, and this is all pre-editing, but yeah, we've hit just about an hour, so...
I mean, you know, I've got a lot of pent-up rage against Gen 5 for a lot of different reasons.
So sorry, Gen 5 lovers?
I would like to apologize to them. I feel like I've at least pointed out what I do like. Like, there are good designs in there, and, like, Roxy, again, one of my favorite gym leaders. Like, there's good shit that came out of Gen 5. There's just a lot more bad, I feel like.
Oh.
I mean, it was cool. It was the first time we had animated sprites in Pokemon.
Oh, really?
Gen 4, technically, I think, is the one that had the first animated sprites, but it was really just your character throwing out your Pokeball for the most part.
Mm-mm.
And this one, the Pokemon themselves, like, every sprite was animated.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that was great. Every single one had, like, idle animations and shit that was going on.
Oh, if you didn't, like, do anything for a while, Pikachu would just check his watch while tapping his foot.
I mean, he wouldn't even, like, you didn't even have to wait. They were constantly in, like, their idle animation.
Wait, no, Pikachu's a mouse Pokemon. Crap, and what's a hedgehog Pokemon? Crap, Sandshrew. Sandshrew would check his watch and tap his foot.
He also wore red shoes.
Gotta go fast.
He held a sign with an egg-shaped human on it, with an X over it.
Sandshrew versus Execute.
Now I'm wondering why they didn't just make the shiny version of Sandshrew blue instead of green. Or Sandflash, I should say.
Oh my god. So, check back for part 2 of this sometime. Yeah, I think we also have a part 2 of food discussion possibly coming, because I think at the end of that one we said there's probably more we could talk about, so that's coming soon, maybe.
I'd have to listen back to that. It's been so long.
Yeah. Oh, I did click on one of the links that was supposedly a rerouting page that got attached to it somehow, and the rerouting page does kick into effect like 60% of the time. So, and that website still has not been updated in like close to 2 years now, so I'm not too sure if that one website is dead or if it's just doesn't have anything else to say in the past 2 years.
I feel like it's dead at that point.
But at least the recipe is still up. If you click on it like 2 or 3 times, I'm not too sure if ad block can get around it or not.
Probably would. For some reason, you refuse to use ad block.
Yeah, I do use ad block sometimes.
I would use it permanently unless you absolutely have to take it off of some site specifically.
Yeah. What?
Enough about irritating you for things that you should do but don't. Should we stop the tangents just in the episode?
Yeah. Yes. Maybe we should.
Because you're already complaining about this being an hour.
Yeah.
Pre-editing, like.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're just making it worse.
I know. I know. Oh, and the recipe. If this sounds good for you, check out our food video. Beetroot, dark chocolate, raspberry, and black olive dessert.
Oh god, I do remember you mentioning that and me being like, why are there olives?
Yeah, but other than that, check back with us sometime for more Pokemon, more random musings.
Ideally, they come out like together at the same time or nearly.
Yeah. We game like 3 to 4 days a week.
Check out Viva Gaming on the Twitch, or here if you want to see the anime version, I guess. The manga is totally the Twitch, and the anime is totally the YouTubes.
The VODs.
Essentially.
We also do Brandon's Discuss Anime. Season 7 should be out.
I don't even know what season it is anymore. I've lost count. I don't know.
It's 7. It's 7.
I thought it was 6 before, but apparently it's 7. Some season snuck in there when I wasn't looking.
Crap, it may be 6. I may have to double check. Oh, God. So, until then, I'll catch everybody later.
Oh, God. Goodbye.